let's give a training camp update on the Baltimore Ravens offense, because a lot of people are really interested in trying to understand how this offense is going to look with new offensive coordinator Todd Monken. And first of all, let's start off talking about Lamarvelous. Lamarvelous so far in training camp has been lights out. His accuracy has made noticeable improvement, and he was already a pretty good passer, a better passer than what most people give him credit for. And the reason why his passing has really stood out this training camp is because, surprise, surprise, he actually has some legitimate wide receivers to throw the football to. And surprise, surprise, OBJ and Zay Flowers are some of the biggest standout players from training camp for Baltimore up to this point. OBJ, he's looked really good. This dude looks as good as ever since he first got traded to the Cleveland Browns. This looks like a new OBJ. This doesn't look like the OBJ that you've seen over the last 3 years, even though he was really good when he was on the Rams. But OBJ looks faster. He looks healthier than ever. This dude is still a fantastic route runner. He was running up Marlon Humphrey. I mean, OBJ has been really good for the Baltimore Ravens, but Zay Flowers, he may be the best receiver on the roster, according to multiple reports that are coming out of training camp. Peter King considered Zay Flowers to be the greatest rookie wide receiver that he's ever seen participate in training camp. I mean, Zay Flowers is putting on an absolute show. Outside of Lamar Jackson, it's the Zay Flowers show up there in B-More. And he has a nickname. His nickname isn't Zay anymore. His nickname is Joystick. And that's what he's been looking like out there. After he gets the ball, after the catch, this dude puts his foot in the ground. He do-do, do-do, do-do. And that's something that really stood out to me about Zay Flowers. And my comp for Zay Flowers was a lesser talented version of Antonio Brown. I feel like Antonio Brown has a little bit more speed and athleticism in his game. He has the ability to go up and get those jump balls, but Zay Flowers is no slouch. I feel like he can be 90 or 85% of what Antonio Brown was during his peak, and that would be really good. And Zay Flowers, man, this dude is a fantastic route runner and a great separator. In training camp, it hasn't really been too many cornerbacks that have been able to lock this dude up, and he's been going against some of the better cornerbacks on the team, which is a plus. Zay Flowers, I expect him to be the best rookie wide receiver in the NFL this year. He's playing with Lamar Jackson. Him and Lamar Jackson have also been doing a lot of training with each other down in South Florida. Zay Flowers, man, this dude is going all so far throughout training camp, and a couple of days ago, he caught 2 red zone touchdowns. And while we're on the topic of the red zone offense has looked vastly improved. Last year, the Baltimore Ravens were one of the worst teams in the NFL in red zone conversion percentage. They didn't score touchdowns in the red zone too often. So for how they look up to this point in training camp, it's been a massive improvement. And the 2 tight ends, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, have really stood out on that area of the field. Mark Andrews, he's standing out on himself or on his own due to the fact that him and Lamar Jackson have the most familiarity with each other. And when OBJ and Zay Flowers had a practice when they weren't on the field, Mark Andrews was Lamar's guy. But people are really sleeping on Isaiah Likely. And my guy, NMD Sports, brought this up to me a couple of nights ago when I was on one of his live streams, and people really are forgetting about Isaiah Likely. This dude had a really good rookie season for a tight end standard. He's an incredible athlete, really good after the catch. Not only does he have good speed for a tight end, but he's way more elusive after the catch than what you may think with a guy whose position is labeled as a tight end. Isaiah Likely is one of the more underrated players that not too many people are talking about that has been performing really well throughout training camp. And I think it was a good time to go ahead and give him some recognition here. And not only was Isaiah Likely looking really good, but undrafted rookie free agent out of ECU, Keaton Mitchell, has impressed as well. He has been really active in the passing game. He's looked really explosive, really fast, and maybe he ends up taking a roster spot from Justice Hill. How long has Justice Hill been on the roster? And what really does Justice Hill really bring to the Ravens? He hasn't really been used that much, and when he's been on the field, he hasn't really done anything. So maybe Keaton Mitchell, if he keeps this up, him and Justice Hill could be competing for being one of the last running backs on the roster. But I think realistically, even if Keaton Mitchell doesn't make the roster, I expect him to at least be on the practice squad, with eventually being moved up to the active roster some point throughout this season, because the special teams coach also has said that they have experimented with having him being a returner when it comes to returning punts and kicks. So keep your eyes out for Keaton Mitchell, undrafted rookie free agent running back out of ECU. And then lastly, we got to talk about the position battle when it comes to left guard. Malisala Laulu, I can't get the other part right, but he's been getting first team reps at left guard. This has been expected. He had a really good mini camp and a really good OTA performance. John Harbaugh was raving about him in the interview that he did with the 33rd team, and he's been raving about him to the media. He was a 6th round pick out of Oregon. He has a lot of versatility. He can play offensive tackle, guard, anywhere you need him to play on the offensive line, he can fit in. And it sounds like he's been really productive. And this dude is a fantastic athlete, man. Like, he's 6'5", 317 pounds, but this dude can move and he's really powerful. He is the definition of a bulldozer. This dude's coming at you. He's putting you on your you-know-what. Really love Malisala Laulu. Really good athlete, really great size. He's a little bit unpolished, but that's something that can be improved. The Ravens love those big, athletic, strong, powerful offensive guards, and it makes sense why they ended up moving him from tackle to guard, because you want to see with how well he moves and the size that he has and the strength that he has, what he can do at that position. So this is my Baltimore Ravens training camp update on the offense. Let me know if you guys have some additional updates on the offense that I might have missed, that I left out. You know, I miss a lot of details. Some of you guys may have been in attendance for the Ravens practice. So if you are or you have been, let me know some observations that you have made about the Ravens offense and how it's looked so far in training camp in the comment section.